After playing and learning about retro games for a while, you realize just how many never left their home country. While games like the Shin Megami Tensei series and Live a Live, so I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, are starting to gain a fan base out west, others have never left their home country of Japan. That's where fan translators come in. These wonderful people spend their free time translating games so we in the Western world can enjoy these amazing adventures. A few months ago, the top game on my wish list finally got translated. A big thank you to the passionate fans that helped to translate this game. Hey there, this is Megablade J, and this is my review of Princess Crown. Princess Crown is a 2D side-scrolling action RPG. It was made by Atlus and was published by Sega for the Sega Saturn in Japan on December of 1997. According to Wikipedia, it was originally meant to be a life simulator game in the vein of Princess Maker 2. It was reworked into an action RPG to help the Saturn compete with the PS1's onslaught of RPG classics. The story of Princess Crown takes place in a fantasy world of magic and monsters. One day, the kingdom of Valindia is attacked by a horde of demons. Their leader was slain by the queen, and peace returns to the land. 20 years later, the queen's daughter, and I'm probably going to say her name horribly wrong, Gradriel, becomes the new queen. Gradriel grew up hearing the stories of her mother's adventures and accomplishments. Now that she's queen, Gradriel feels she hasn't lived up to the legacy left behind by her late mother. So she wants to go out on her own journey and see the world with her own eyes. Opportunity arrives when a fairy pops up and asks for Gradriel's help. Taking the chance to prove herself, she escapes the castle with her new fairy friend. Together, they set off to see the world and help the kingdom's people firsthand. Through her travels, she makes new friends, battles fierce monsters, and stops an ancient evil from conquering the land. I thought the storyline was pretty good. It had a few plot twists I didn't see coming, and it made me want to keep playing to see what would happen next. Gradriel was a pretty kind-hearted character who just wants to protect her people and see the world, but is skilled enough with her giant sword to kick your ass if you tick her off enough. The rest of the supporting cast were also interesting and had their own distinct personalities. Once you beat the main story, you can even unlock a few of them as playable characters with their own side stories. Each one of these characters plays pretty much the same, with a few having a unique mechanic here and there. These side character stories are nowhere near as long as the main story. The longest lasted around 6 or 7 hours, with the shortest being beaten in 1 to 2 hours. Though they may not be as long as the main campaign, they do help to flesh out these characters and wrap up any loose ends from the main story. When all 4 character stories are completed, a 5th chapter will unlock. Beating that will show the game's true ending. One of my favorites is the witch, and once again I'm going to say her name horribly wrong, Proserpina. She's self-centered, funny, and never gives up on her quest for revenge, no matter how many times we kick her ass. Kinda reminds me of another stubborn magic user. The gameplay reminds me a lot of Valkyrie Profile. Mainly how the game plays like a 2D side-scroller with RPG elements. You can explore dungeons, fight a variety of fantasy creatures, and enter towns to talk to NPCs or buy items. It's very important to talk to NPCs whenever you get to a new town. Not only will they offer hints on what to do next, but can also unlock side missions. Though optional, They give important stat boosting items, upgrades for your fairy companion, or extra bags to hold more items. As you wander through a field or dungeon, you will get into a random encounter. Combat in Princess Crown is pretty unique. Fights are one-on-one, real-time, and remind me more of a fighting game / beat-em-up than an RPG. To fight, Galadriel has a number of physical attacks at her disposal. You have a combo attack, jumping, sliding, and a charge attack that uses all your stamina. You can attack as long as you have stamina. It goes down as you attack and recovers when you stop. Lose all your stamina, and you are sitting duck until it refills. Keeping an eye on your stamina while continuing to pressure your foes is a delicate dance and the key to victory. You also have a dodge you can activate right before you get hit. This allows you to either dodge backwards or behind the enemy. The timing can be a bit tricky at first, but it comes in very handy if the enemy backs you into a corner. You'll pick up a variety of items in your travels. These include magic gems for attack spells, healing items, and stats boosters. You have limited inventory at the beginning of the game, so managing your items is important to win later fights. The art and graphics for this game are phenomenal. While the Sega Saturn was not the easiest to make 3D games on, it was a 2D powerhouse, and this game is a prime example of that. The backgrounds are bright, varied, and have many layers of parallax scrolling. Character and enemy sprites are large, highly detailed, and boost some beautiful animation. It would have been amazing if more developers had played into the system's strengths and made more beautiful 2D games like this. If the art style seems familiar, that's because this was the first game made by the studio now known as Vanillaware. Once upon a time, they were a part of Atlus, the same studio behind the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei series. Eventually, people left and formed Vanillaware. There they made games like Unicorn Overlord, Dragon's Crown, and the spiritual successor to this game, Odin's Spear. Vanillaware's signature 2D art style is often credited to, I probably say his name wrong, George Kamitani, one of Vanillaware's founding members and main game director. His art has a unique 2D style, and often it exaggerates certain physical traits on his characters. Though, after looking at the credits screen and online, it seems he may not have done the art for this particular game. He may not have been the main artist for this title, but you can definitely tell he had some influence on the character designs. While I absolutely love this game, there are a few rough spots. While you do fight a variety of creatures, you will soon face recolors of the same monsters over and over again. They all share the same moves, with later versions just being stronger or more aggressive. This does result in later fights getting very repetitive. Speaking of repetitive, while the art style may look fantastic, the game will reuse these art assets in later areas. It also makes you re-travel the same dungeons multiple times near the end of the game. Looking at you, Demon Lore Tower. This, combined with the distance needed to reach some of these areas, makes this feel like padding. And it really makes me wish more towns had fast travel points. Oh yes, one more thing. Goblins. No, seriously. This game made me absolutely hate goblins. You see, the game has a mechanic where if you leave an item on the ground for more than, say, 30 seconds, a goblin will pop up and steal it. Now, I'm going to assume this is a way to cut down on lag with having too many items on the screen at one time, but man, I cannot tell you how many times I lost a good item because I could not get to it in time. Plus, there are some enemies, like goblins, that can actually attack you and make you drop items you were holding or were just in your pouch. Now, higher level goblins can use this item stealing attack almost every other turn. So, this mechanic can get very annoying very fast. While it's an amazing game, Princess Crown was a commercial failure. This led to a 3D sequel planned for the Dreamcast to be cancelled. Fortunately, Vanillaware found later success and was able to reuse the concepts to create the game Dragon's Crown. Princess Crown was later ported to the Sony PSP and digitally to the PS4 as a pre-order bonus for 13 Sentinels. Princess Crown was only released in Japan, but there is an English translation online. Once again, a big thank you to all involved in the English translation. If you want to own a copy, the price online seems to vary. The PSP release seems to be a lot cheaper, going for around $30 to $50. The original Saturn release is more expensive, going for around $70 to $100 online. Overall, I had an amazing time playing Princess Crown. It had an amazing art style, fun combat, and lasted way over 30 hours. If you're a fan of role-playing games, or just want to explore more of the Saturn's unique library, I highly recommend this game. This has been Megablade J. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Let's Plays, playthroughs, and my poor attempts to entertain you all. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go relax by watching some Goblin Slayer. Thanks for watching, and see you all next mission. Bye.